Excuse me. You are in the wrong seat. This is business class. Economy is behind the curtain.
I have my boarding pass right here, seat 3A. This is my seat.
I've seen plenty of fake boarding passes. People like you try to sneak into business class all the time, so don't give me that. Economy is behind that curtain. Now move before I call security.
Several passengers turned in their seats. A few raised their phones, filming the commotion.
She's not even looking at it. This is going to be a long flight.
I said move, or I'll have you escorted off this plane. This is your final warning.
I've shown you my pass. Please verify it with your system. There must be a mistake.
If the man has a boarding pass, just scan it. We're all trying to settle in here.
Stay out of this, sir. I know what a stolen pass looks like. That's enough. I am calling security. They'll sort this out at the gate.
Here is my ID as well. Please, just check the manifest. I have nothing to hide.
Reina didn't even glance at the ID. Her thumb was already pressing the call button for backup. But before she could speak into the radio, a firm voice cut through the cabin noise.
Reina, what is the situation here? I can see the cabin is unsettled.
Chief Purser, this passenger refuses to move. He's clearly stolen a business class boarding pass.
His name, please. I'll verify the manifest immediately.
Kazuya, seat 3A.
That name, it can't be. Not the Kazuya from the pre-flight briefing.
His fingers paused on the manifest. The muscle in his jaw tightened. Reina had just picked the worst possible passenger to humiliate. The manifest listed Kazuya with a priority flag, the kind reserved for individuals whose comfort was never to be compromised.
Reina, step aside. I'll take it from here. Wait in the galley.
But Chief Purser, I was just...
That is enough. Your actions have already caused enough disruption. Now go. My apologies, everyone. This was a simple miscommunication. We'll have your seats sorted out in just a moment.
About time someone with authority showed up. He recognized my name.
Mr. Kazuya, would you accompany me to the galley? There's an urgent matter I need to discuss with you.
Of course. Lead the way.
Kazuya rose from his seat, leaving his glass on the tray. The passengers watched as the two men disappeared behind the galley curtain.
What just happened? The chief's face. This isn't a simple mistake. He knows something I don't.
The curtain fell shut behind Kazuya and Tanaka. In the cramped galley, Reina stood with her arms crossed, her earlier confidence now a brittle shell.
Reina, do you have any idea the damage you've caused? You publicly accused a passenger of fraud based solely on your prejudice.
He didn't look like a business class passenger. I've caught seat thieves before. I was protecting the airline.
You refused to verify his documents, ignored his ID, and made a scene in front of the entire cabin. That is not protection.
I thought I was following protocol.
Protocol? Your record is already under review. This incident will not be overlooked by headquarters.
Headquarters? It's worse than I thought. If this gets reported, I could be fired.
The passenger you humiliated has connections that go much higher than this cabin. I recommend you pray he doesn't press the matter further.
Higher? What do you mean? He's just a man in a blazer.
Tanaka turned without another word, his shoulders set. The galley suddenly felt much smaller, and Reina's legs threatened to give way. 48 hours earlier, Director Sato had summoned Kazuya to a private briefing.
Mr. Kazuya, we need your help. A flight attendant named Reina has been generating complaints.
What kind of complaints?
6 reports in 3 months. Passengers say she's rude, dismissive, and judges them by appearance.
We need an impartial evaluator on her next flight. Someone she won't recognize. You fit that perfectly.
So I'll fly undercover and observe her directly.
Yes, document everything. If she shows the same behavior, we'll have grounds for termination.
This assignment is critical, Kazuya. Our entire cabin training program may depend on your findings.
Kazuya glanced at the incident log. Each entry stung with quiet judgment. A passenger's clothes, their accent, their age. He boarded flight 307, unaware that within hours, he would become the 7th complaint.
Mr. Kazuya, I must apologize on behalf of the airline. Such treatment is unacceptable.
Water under the bridge. I am just glad someone with authority stepped in.
You are too kind. Now, the first-class suite awaits. Please follow me.
A suite. They're really pulling out all the stops for a consultant they hired just for an evaluation. They even personalized the monitor. The CEO must have called ahead.
The first-class cabin stretched out in serene emptiness, each pod a sanctuary of privacy.
I'll settle in and finish my observation notes. Reina won't enjoy reading this report, but she brought it on herself.
As they passed through the divider, the business-class passengers exchanged glances, their curiosity piqued by the chief's deferential posture. Murmurs rose. Who is he? Did you see the chief bow? Something is going on.
Let them talk. My job here is almost done.
In the crew rest area, Reina dialed a familiar number with shaking hands.
I messed up. The chief purser is furious. I think they're going to report me.
The reply on her screen was blunt. It looks bad. I'll try, but your record won't help.
Even my union rep is losing hope. What have I done?
A soft knock on the suite divider. Mrs. Watanabe stood in the aisle, her floral bloused crisp.
Excuse me, Mr. Kazuya. I wanted to thank you for handling that situation so calmly.
That's very kind, ma'am. Please, have a seat.
I've flown with that attendant before. She accused me of faking my platinum card because I didn't look the part.
You are a platinum member? She had no right to question you without verification.
Watanabe nodded, her eyes tired. Another name for the report. Reina's fate was no longer in question. A platinum card rested on the side table, catching the cabin's soft amber light. His tablet glowed beside it.
Every evaluation I write shapes this airline, but this one feels different.
3 years earlier, a cramped home office glowed with lines of flight control code. At the top of the primary module, a single comment read, "Designed by Kei Kazuya." When the upgrade saved the airline from a near-catastrophic system failure, the CEO flew to his office.
This is more than a thank you. You fly for life, Kazuya.
The card's gold crest caught the office light, immutable and heavy with unspoken trust. Now in the first-class suite, that same card lay inches from a screen full of Reina's infractions.
The code I wrote keeps planes in the air, but it can't fix arrogance.
He began to write every line a quiet verdict in the dim crew bunk. Reina sat alone, the hum of the engines pressing against her thoughts.
When I see him, I'll say, it was all a misunderstanding. He seems like a reasonable man. I can claim the stress got to me. My training never really covered how to handle suspicious passengers. My mother always said I had to be tough in this industry. She'd understand why I did it. No, that sounds pathetic. I need a better angle. Something that makes him feel like the villain.
Her mind spun excuses, like a broken reel, each one thinner than the last.
Perhaps if I show vulnerability, he'll pity me. Everyone has a soft spot for tears. But what if he sees through it? He didn't flinch when I threatened him. He's not like the others. I'll make him see that I am not a bad person, just someone who made a mistake under pressure.
The self-deception tasted bitter, but she swallowed it. She would plead, not apologize. Kazuya stepped into the galley for a glass of water, but Reina was already there, her face a pale mask of rehearsed desperation.
Mr. Kazuya, please, just a moment. I need to explain. The incident was a misunderstanding, I swear.
He said nothing, simply waiting with the patience of a man who had seen too much to be moved by words alone.
I've been under so much pressure lately. The airline doesn't care about us and I snapped. You can't blame me for that.
I don't blame you for feeling pressure. I blame you for refusing to verify a simple boarding pass.
But he looked suspicious. I was just trying to protect the company.
6 other passengers didn't look right to you either. This isn't about protection.
So you've already judged me. What's the point of even talking?
There isn't one. This conversation is over. The report will speak for itself.
He filled his glass and walked out, the galley curtain falling shut behind him. Reina stood alone, her career collapsing as quietly as the bubbles in his water. Reina stumbled into the aisle, grabbing the curtain edge where he had disappeared. Her voice cracked as she called out.
Wait, I need to know, who are you really? The chief's reaction wasn't normal.
Kazuya halted, his back still turned. When he finally faced her, his eyes held no anger, only the quiet certainty of a verdict already delivered.
6 complaints in 3 months, Reina. You mocked a student's university ID, called a veteran a liability, and accused a mother of faking her child's passport.
Those were misunderstandings too. How do you know all this?
Because I was sent to document every one of them. Today wasn't random. It was a test, and you failed.
A test? Then this entire flight was a setup. They've been building a case against me for weeks.
Your fate isn't mine to decide, but my report will reflect every passenger you've wronged, including the one you picked today.
I thought I could talk my way out, but he knew everything. Every single complaint.
Kazuya returned to his suite, leaving Reina motionless in the aisle. The galley curtain swayed gently, a divider between her past and a profession she was about to lose. Kazuya settled back into the deep first-class seat, the tablet already glowing with his unfinished evaluation. He typed the final lines, unbiased, precise, every word a nail in Reina's professional coffin. With a single tap, the report was encrypted and queued for Director Sato's inbox. His duty here was complete. He reached into his blazer's inner pocket and withdrew something heavy. The platinum card caught the cabin's amber light, its gold crest gleaming like the day he received it.
3 years since that upgrade. And yet, this little card still feels heavier than any paycheck.
He turned it over in his fingers, then let a rare, private smile break across his tired face.
No one on this flight has any idea. And that's exactly how it should be.
He tucked the card away, back into the quiet anonymity he preferred. Outside, the cabin was calm. The storm vanished into the hum of engines and the promise of landing. The seatbelt sign chimed, and Chief Purser Tanaka's voice filled the cabin with practiced calm.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are beginning our descent. Please fasten your seatbelts and prepare for landing.
Kazuya glanced out the oval window. The city below was a grid of tiny lights, distant and indifferent. In the crew bunk, Reina felt the pressure change. The descent was a physical weight, pressing her down.
It's almost over. When we land, that report will leave this plane with him. There must be something I can do. One last plea, maybe mention my mother. It worked before.
But even as she thought it, the words felt hollow, a script she'd used too many times. Kazuya, in his suite, felt no such panic. The seatbelt sign was just another step toward the end of a job well done.
Landing, then home. The report will be in Sato's hands before midnight.
The ground rose to meet them, concrete and inevitable, as the flight drew its final breath. The jet bridge stretched ahead, a sterile tunnel toward the terminal. Kazuya walked with unhurried strides, his job complete.
Mr. Kazuya, wait, please, just one more moment.
She's persistent, but I've already said everything necessary.
I know I made a mistake, but those passengers provoke me. They don't understand the stress of this job.
Stress doesn't excuse discrimination. I hope you reflect on that.
My mother depends on my income. If I lose this job, what will happen to her?
Then you should have considered that before you humiliated 7 people. Goodbye, Reina.
He turned and continued walking, his footsteps echoing in the narrow corridor.
He didn't even look back. That man. He's not like anyone I've ever faced.
The terminal swallowed him, a sea of indifferent travelers. For Reina, the bridge was a lonely plank between who she was and who she might become. The next morning, air smelled of coffee and decisions. Kazuya stepped through the glass doors of the airline's headquarters.
Kazuya, right on time. CEO Nakamura is already on the video feed. He's eager to hear your findings.
Your report is devastatingly clear, Kazuya. The pattern is irrefutable. You've done exactly what we asked.
Flight 307 was merely the tipping point. I've documented 6 prior incidents with the same discriminatory pattern.
Then we must act. What do you recommend for training reform? Your insight is invaluable.
Implement a mandatory anti-bias module. Use real-world scenarios. And have senior staff conduct undercover evaluations quarterly.
We'll roll this out company-wide. As for Reina, the board meets tomorrow. Her termination is all but formalized.
Justice will be served. And Kazuya, your lifetime platinum status remains our deepest thanks. You fly with us always.
I appreciate that. But more than perks, I value an airline where passengers are treated with dignity.
The meeting ended with handshakes and the quiet hum of policy about to change. Outside, the sky was clear. 2 weeks later, the HR office smelled of stale coffee and finality. A letter slid across the desk toward Reina. Effective immediately. Your employment is terminated for gross misconduct. The words blurred only slightly. She signed without reading further, the pen scratching like a final goodbye. Then security flanked her through the fluorescent hallway.
So it's over. 5 years gone because I couldn't look past a blazer.
On another floor, a training room buzzed with the energy of new beginnings.
Today you learn what happens when we forget that passengers are people. Each one of you holds the power to humiliate or to uplift. The training you receive comes from real cases. Learn from them, so no passenger ever feels what 7 people felt because of one attendant's bias.
Through the glass wall, Reina stood in the hallway, clutching a small cardboard box filled with her locker's contents.
That should be me in there, learning, but I was too proud to listen.
The box grew heavy in her arms as she turned away, the glass door closing behind her with a sound like a cell door shutting. A month later, the apology aired across every major network. A crisp, unflinching statement from the airline. Posters went up in every airport. Every passenger deserves dignity. We failed. We will do better. Kazuya watched from his sofa, the remote loose in his hand.
They actually went through with it. Not just a press release, a real public apology.
He set the remote aside and opened his laptop. The airline's booking page loaded with a soft chime.
Time to see if the new training is more than a script. Book the same route.
A few clicks, and a boarding pass materialized in his inbox. Flight 419, business class, window seat.
No evaluation mission this time. Just a flight. Something I haven't had in a while.
He closed the laptop and let his gaze drift toward the window, where the sky was already dark. Tomorrow, he'd be back at 40,000 feet, this time with a crew that had learned a very public lesson. The terminal gleamed under morning light. Kazuya approached check-in with a small suitcase. The attendant glanced at the screen. Her expression shifted. A quiet signal passed between counters. One by one, agents stood. Then supervisors. A line of Navy uniformed crew formed behind the desk. A senior captain stepped forward, his hand extended, gold stripes catching the light.
This is unexpected. I thought the apology was enough.
The captain's grip was firm. No words were needed. The gratitude in his eyes said everything.
He thanked me. The entire crew looks at me like I am a hero. I just wanted a quiet flight.
Other travelers paused, luggage carts still. A few whispered, recognizing the man from the news.
Thank you. I am just glad the airline is moving forward.
With a modest bow, Kazuya headed toward security, the weight of the past month finally lifting. He settled into his familiar window seat. 3A. Sunlight streamed through the ovals, the cabin peaceful.
At last, a flight without drama. Just a quiet journey.
Then the purser's voice filled the cabin, but the message was unlike any routine announcement.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to honor a passenger whose contributions keep our aircraft aloft. Please join me in thanking Mr. Kazuya, the architect of our flight control software and a lifetime platinum member.
The cabin burst into applause. Passengers turned in their seats, clapping and murmuring in awe.
That's him. The man from last month. He wasn't stealing. He designed the very safety systems we rely on.
Takeda's face drained of color. He slumped back, the weight of his earlier skepticism crashing down.
I never wanted a spectacle, but perhaps it's fine to be seen for the right reasons.
The ovation rolled on, a symphony of vindication for the quiet engineer who once asked only for water. Elsewhere, in a cramped apartment, Reina sat hunched over her phone, scrolling.
I can't stop checking their feed. It's like picking at a wound that won't heal.
The airline's social media page lit up with a new post. An article read, "From humiliated passenger to celebrated hero, how one man's quiet integrity forced an airline to change."
They used my cruelty as a catalyst. My name isn't even mentioned. I am just the shadow he defeated.
Another photo showed the new training session, her replacement standing beside the CEO, beaming with purpose.
That should have been my redemption. Instead, I am just a cautionary tale they tell in training.
She swiped away, but the images stayed burned behind her eyes.
If only I had looked at that boarding pass just once, everything would be different.
Outside, the distant roar of an airplane rose and faded, leaving her in the silence of her own making. The applause faded into the steady hum of engines. Outside, the sky turned amber and rose. Kazuya leaned his head back, the seat cradling him. His reflection in the window smiled. A hand reached for the champagne flute that had been placed beside him.
To the ones who trusted me, to the ones who learned, to a quiet flight.
He took a sip. The bubbles were crisp, the way they should be on a flight like this. Below, the ocean caught the last light, a path of gold stretching to the horizon.
All that noise on the ground, and up here, it's just silence and light.
The tablet was off. No more reports. His job was not to evaluate, not today, just to be. He closed his eyes, the day's warmth on his face. The past receded like a forgotten gate. The sky held the plane gently, carrying one quiet engineer into a cloudless tomorrow. From the ground, a silver shape lifted into the painted sky, its engines a low, steady thrum. Inside, a man in a charcoal blazer rested, his glass now empty, his journey nearly done. There were no cameras now, no applause, just altitude and the gentle arc toward home. Kazuya did not need to be seen. He had already been known in the way that mattered most. The plane climbed through layers of amber and rose, leaving the terminal and its old dramas far behind. For the passengers who board with quiet integrity, the sky will always welcome them back. And so it was for the quiet engineer, whose code had once saved lives, and whose patience had now saved something else. The aircraft swept across the sky, a silver arc of second chances and silent justice. There are no villains in the clouds, only lessons that lift everyone higher. And as the plane dissolved into the fading sun, the sky held its promise, unchanged and forever open.